Coast Radio. The latest sport. Here first. This is Coast Radio Sport.
And joining us all live on what is turning out to be a bit of a chilly night is Paddy Atkinson, who's out there with a crowd somewhere, I think.
Yeah, we're here outside with Glenn McCrory. How are you doing, Glenn?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's living up to everything. Really, really good. Having a great time.
Yeah, it was sunny this afternoon, and now it's a little bit windy, and we're sitting on the bench, aren't we, trying to get a bit of shelter?
Well, wherever Gerry is, it's sunny where he is, so I need to get nearer him.
Yeah, we need to say a big shout out to Blythetown, who've sponsored our show tonight and Party in the Park. So a big thank you to Scott Douglas and Blythetown football team. We will be giving them lots of shout outs tonight and over the weekend. But without further ado, we're going to talk a little bit about non-league football, because it is a pleasure for Glenn to be sitting next to me. I promised I wouldn't touch on boxing too much. It's just a pleasure to have an absolute superstar on the Friday Night Sports Show with me, Paddy Atkinson. If Anthony Rutherford gets here, I'm sure he will. My phone's probably ringing, that's probably him. And so yeah, Glenn, just you've got your two kids here, and just looking around Party in the Park, there's, what have you seen so far?
Well, you see a bit of everything here, don't you? I mean, there's all sorts of shows, there's food, there's alcohol tents, there's music going on. We've just seen a great kids band, a couple of young guys playing some great music. So lots to do, lots to see, and I think if you've got some time this weekend, this is the place to be.
Yeah, certainly. Party in the Park. We're here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think it is Monday. I'm sure Gerry will correct me on that. But let's talk a little bit about non-league football. We're going to talk about Bedlington Terriers, who are in the second division of the Northern League. They were playing Sunderland West End last weekend, and they lost 3-0. And we had the manager Andy Ferguson on the show, and midweek they played against Prudhoe and they drew 1-1. So Bedlington have dropped down to 11th place. Ashwinning tomorrow, they're playing the second place. Did you manage to take any non-league football in England?
No, not really. Occasionally I might get a game in Anfield playing. It's great. I've got family play for Anfield playing. So yeah, now and again it is. And obviously I remember the great days of Blythe, Spartan and all that. But it's good to see that so many good teams in the North East cracking on and putting on some good shows.
Yeah, and just give a shout out to your son as well, because he's playing football now, isn't he? What's his name?
Well, they both are, Aidan and Aoife, and it's great to see boys and girls having been so popular with the football in the area. But Aidan's doing great, plays for Beamish under 9s, and he's the goal scorer.
Excellent. Did you want to say hello? A big shout out. Say hello.
Hello.
Can you tell us what team you play for? Beamish there. That's Glenn McCrory. Is he going to be a boxer like you or a footballer?
Absolutely not. I think it's football, and to be honest, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah. No, I wonder. We'll have to take in a game one weekend. So yeah, all the best to Andy Ferguson for Bedlington Terriers tomorrow when they take on Ashwinning. It's still early doors in the league, so plenty of time to pick those points up. I was just looking at the league table today, and they're 10 points adrift from the top team, which is Jarrow of all teams. One of my old muckers used to be the manager of there. So good luck to Andy Ferguson and the players there. Let's move on to Blythetown, and a big shout out again for their sponsor.
Yeah, thanks very much, Blythe, and sorry you got beat off Birtley recently, and Birtley just round the corner from me in Stanley, and obviously you take a bit of interest in the local teams.
Yeah, and it was the FA Cup, which is it's a bit of a sad affair, because just looking at the when we looked at the game and the report, it was a bit of an argy-bargy physical game, and I believe, I'm just seeing the word alleged, it continued in the tunnel and in the bar, so I don't actually know what's happened, but those guys from Birtley,
I think Blythe and Birtley, I think that there's a bit of a mix there, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, but we do a massive shout out to Scott Douglas and Blythetown Football Ground. Football. I don't keep saying football ground. Blythetown Football Team for their sponsor for the Friday Night Sports Show and Party in the Park. And we took some great pictures with the flag that we've got in behind us as well with Glenn McCrory. So tomorrow, let's talk about midweek, because sometimes when you get, it's a bit like boxing, you get kicked in the teeth. You want to make it better, and they took on West Allotment through the week, and they won 5-1.
Yeah, it's amazing, but that's the mark of a good team. If they've been rattled a few days before, they get themselves back, sort themselves out, get the team going again, and then to come back like that, that's a great win.
If anybody can hear the drums in the background, it's not the Indians. It's somebody warming up. It's one of the bands warming up, because we've got a great lineup tonight, and I'm looking forward to Tony Lewis, who is Robbie Williams, and he did say he's going to try and join the show a little bit later on, so I'm looking forward to that. But 5-1, I mean, that just shows you, hasn't it? They've just actually rolled their sleeves up, put their boxing gloves on, and thought, we're going to get revenge midweek.
Yeah, and 2 points off the leaders, Redcar and Borough Rangers, so it's good that they sorted themselves out in the back, so early in the season, they're getting themselves back on track. Yeah, third
in the league. Blythetown doing really well in the league, and like you say, they've played 16 points. That's not a bad return so far. I mean, the weeks is only 3 weeks on, they've got 16 points. Yeah. So
tough game this weekend against Marsk, though, and they're away to Marsk. So,
have you been to Marsk?
I haven't.
Yep. Do you know where it is?
I have not got a clue.
It's down Teesside. So when you go over there, the Teesside.
All right.
So have you heard of Saltburn?
Yeah.
It's before you get to Saltburn. That's where Marsk is.
Right.
So just reading on Marsk, and then I just want to ask your opinion on this. Right, a team goes bust. In my book, they should start again. So they were 2 divisions above last year. They went bust financially. They couldn't finish the season, so they finished bottom. To me, they should have started in the lower division of the Alliance, but they were put in the first division of the Northern League. That's a bit unfair, that, because teams work hard to get promoted, and then one team just gets dropped in there because they've got no money. I mean, how does that work?
Doesn't seem to make sense to me. I'm no expert in how the football leagues work, though, but that just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's Bedlington Terriers covered in Blythetown of the Northern League. We're probably going to have a song, so I don't know if Gerry's in now. He's just kindly moved the desk and the chair and what is it? Is this what is it? It's a picnic table, isn't it?
It is a picnic table. It's one of the finest. In fact, it's the best picnic table we could find, because we've got Glenn sat there.
Exactly, that's what it is. I thought it's quite comfy. Next, we've got the flag in the wind behind us as well. And everybody knows. So if you want to come and say hello, we're next to the big tent in Party in the Park. And if you want a photograph with Glenn McCrory, please just come along. I'm sure when we play some music, he will simply oblige. And I have tried to use that word simply, because he knows what it means to him when he... Tell us what your song was when you used to come out with the boxing.
My song, do you know what? It's a funny story, this, because I stood in the corridor and I'd never had walk-in music or anything, or picked walk-in music, and it was my world title fight, so I'd never even thought of that. That was the last thing on my mind. Para Lamumba was the big thing, and then we're standing there, everybody's nervous and then my music cranks up, and it's Robert Palmer, Simply Irresistible. And I looked at my brother and I thought, you are going to get it.
So that's obviously exclusive from Glenn McCrory. We're going to have a song, so Gerry will oblige with that, and then we'll come back and talk about Blyth Spartans, and we will also be talking about Morpeth, because we're actually sitting just across the road from Morpeth Town Football Ground. So we'll be back in a couple of songs, so stay tuned with us. And if you do want a photograph with Glenn McCrory, and I hope that the look at the black clouds coming across do hold off. So there you go. So we'll be back very shortly.
Coast Radio. The latest sport. Here first. This is Coast Radio Sport. Coast Radio.
I was kind of hoping that Paddy Atkinson was actually going to say something.
I am. Someone just kicked a football, one of the young lads, and nearly hit me on the head. I was going to head it. So yeah, he needs to keep the ball way over there. because we're live on radio and you nearly hit the microphone, so that's why we didn't speak. And then I don't know if you've seen that, Glenn, did you?
Well, I did. I obviously know we're doing a football report.
Unbelievable. We've got two kids outside the tent, right? And they've just kicked the ball, and honestly, it's nearly hit the tent and it's nearly went over into your OB. So we might have to ask Marky to actually go and ask them to move out the way. It's not a football pitch because they don't seem to have any control of how far they're kicking that football. So they need to actually get that football away from this microphone because it's going to hit the microphone. We're live on radio at the minute.
Well, I can't see anything that's going on because I'm on the main stage and you're outside. But before you start talking about sport again, I've got a question for Glenn McCrory. I really have, because the last time I seen him, he was clean shaven and he's gone back to the stubble. Glenn, I'm telling you now, stubble suits you better.
Thanks very much, Gerry, mate. It's the winter's coming back in. It's that time of year where you've just got to get yourself warmed up again.
Well, it's certainly like the wind out here, isn't it, Glenn? All of a sudden, the wind's got a little bit up. But we've got to give a big shout out to Rob Cairns with the buses. His father, I think it's the father's part of the festival this year, Gerry. But he said, could you give us a shout out for Mola, because we've got a couple of cans. He is going to give us some Mola drinks to give out free, possibly tomorrow, and he's got some other things. But what he's saying is he's got jugs of cocktails for £15. He's got Mola CBD drinks, obviously. Tiny Rebel Club Tropic, that's a new one. And also he's got alcoholic ice pools. And also he's got, don't forget to mention Andy's Bar, though, so they're a big shout out. So we've just been down early on as well, haven't we?
We have been down. I'd leave the car at home. Unfortunately, I've got the car, so I'll be not partaking. But looking forward to one of Rob's buses in the near future because it's fabulous.
Yeah, you mentioned something about maybe he's doing is it a film festival? Do you want to maybe talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, we got some plans. We got some plans in Stanley, where I'm from. There's some stuff we want to do. One of the things we want to do, I can't say it a great deal, but is start a film festival. We want to put the Stanley Film Festival, and there's great history with Stanley that a lot of people don't know, but it was a Stanley bloke and his brother that discovered Hollywood and started the first ever production studios in Hollywood. So Stanley has a great history, and we want to bring a bit of that back.
Well, we're sitting here, and I don't know if you could feel, was it your telephone or it was like the earth was moving, but I don't know what band is behind us because I kind of hear we've got our earphones on, but whatever it is, it actually certainly was vibrating this table that we're sitting on here. So yeah, we've got people giving Glenn a high five. Do you want to say a quick hello? You're live on radio. Do you want to say a quick hello? You're live on radio, Coast Radio 106.6.
Hi, I'm Elsa and I'm getting paid.
There you go, straight from the horse's mouth. It's just going to have a good time. Everybody's got their bucket hats on. There's more and more people coming in, and there's like,
I think she's having a good time already. That's the high five.
I mean, you've got wigwams over there. I mean, what's that about? I think that's a VIP area. You've got prawn crackers over there. You've got another bar over there. You've got amusements in the far corner. There's actually a Bounce Nation. So lots of things happening. Glenn's, who were you waving at there, Glenn?
Absolutely no idea.
If you want a photograph and you're at Party in the Park, I'm sure Gerry's going to tell people in there, if you want a picture with our mighty Glenn McCrory, our Northeast legend, and you're at Party in the Park, we're sitting on the picnic table right outside the main tent, and I'm sure he will oblige. And there's Gerry playing on his phone as well. He's looking cool in the New Coast Radio OB jacket, which is sponsored by Dulux. So thank you very much for Dulux for those coats. We are actually getting the benefit of that today because it's freezing cold and Gerry's taking a picture. I'm going to point it to the new jackets and fleeces that we're wearing here at Party and Pop. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to talk about Morpeth Football Club, which is just across the road. They took on Basford United last weekend and they lost 4-0. And then midweek, it was their third game of the season, and they're playing Stockton Town, who got promoted last year, and they got a fabulous win, winning 2-1. So again, Glenn, I think that's another rile. You get a bit wound up and you think, we've got to put things right, don't we?
But it's mixed fortunes, and it's showing that probably out of season, take the foot off the pedal a little bit. They get a bit of a surprise in an early game, and it's right, boys, we need to get ourselves back on the ball. It's a long season, and we need to get ourselves ready for it.
Yeah, and as well, it doesn't help if you're working and it's a Tuesday night and you have to go away, and then the team changes each week. But this week, Morpeth are at home again. They're sitting 19th place against Warrington Rylands, who are sitting 20th place. Have you been to Warrington before?
Very much. Some good pals down there. Yeah.
It's Liverpool, isn't it?
Yes, it's kind of just down from Manchester. Come in a bit from Liverpool. Yeah, it's a good place.
Tough guys down there as well. I've played that. Honestly, they are.
There absolutely is. Good rugby players. I don't think that.
So during your boxing career, if you came across somebody from Warrington, would you think this is going to be a tough one?
I'd buy him a pint.
I love that. It's going to buy the pint. So yeah, good luck to Morpeth, who are at home tomorrow. So hey, if they're playing across the road from Port in the Park, right, that's going to be an easy one for the players, isn't it, Glenn? Right, get a win and then come and celebrate in this festival.
I want a place to celebrate, so I think that's a definite.
Isn't it? You win a game, that's it. So that if you're listening, you play for Morpeth, especially Craig Lynch, the manager, right? You've got to win that game tomorrow, and then you've got to bring the lads across the roads to the party in the park, and you've got to buy them a pint. That sounds. Does that sound a winnable? That's like a bonus in itself, isn't it?
I think if Eddie Howe can get the lads back from Bournemouth, I'd say get yourselves back.
I totally agree. Party in the Park is a place to be. We're going to talk a little bit about Asherton now before we play a song. But Asherton they played Bishop Auckland last weekend in the FA Cup. But before that midweek, they lost 2-0 at home in the league. So they got them again. They drew 1-1, and it was a great goal by my good friend Cyril Giroud. He's a French lad. And I don't know if you've seen the pictures on Facebook, but a wonderful strike from outside the box. I think it was covered on the BBC last week. So the Colliers were getting followed by Match of the Day. Isn't that good? How good is that when you're in the early rounds of the FA Cup and Match of the Day say, right, we're going to follow you? How good's that?
It's amazing. I saw a little bit of it on the TV myself. No, that's brilliant. And I think the fact now we've got lots of TV channels and all that, teams get so much more coverage, and sport in general gets so much more coverage. You can go on TV and somewhere you'll get a football match or athletics or whatever is going on at the moment.
So anyway, they went down to Bishop Auckland for the third time on Tuesday night, and it was 1-1. And you might know Paul Gascoigne. His nephew, who was playing for Asherton now, he got the first. It was Jay Eriton got the first goal, and Cam Gascoigne got the winner in extra time. Right? Do you know Paul Gascoigne?
Very well out there. Grew up with him, I think.
Glenn, when I say, do you know Paul Gascoigne, right? And you go, yeah, I know him very well. But then to come out and say, yeah, we threw up together, that's an exclusive in itself, isn't it?
You're going to hate me for this because I also know Paul. I used to play football with him.
Don't say he scored at Wembley like you did as well.
No, we'll skip that one about scoring the penalty.
I've played football with him and Alan Shearer, and it wasn't the best. Me and Paul were not in the best of form, can I say, in that particular game.
Yeah, but the difference is, you're Glenn McCrory, you should know Paul Gascoigne. Paddy, who's the most famous footballer? You know that.
Well, Paul Gascoigne, I used to get the bus from Wickham through Dunstan, and we used to walk up to St James, so we've all got something in common. And when I was at Sheffield United and he was playing for England, he came over and said, Paddy, which pair of boots do you want? Brand new boots, right? He went, do you want me tie? Because for in England, he went, well, if you want to give me, he gave us his England tie, his England badge. He actually gave us his suit jacket, and when he bumped into me dad in the Fellsider, he actually said, do you want to, I'm going to come to your house for Christmas dinner. So that's how well we know each other. So we've got a lot in common here, and we've got people coming up and saying, is that Glenn? Hi, we've got Nicola as well, who's the mother of the kids. We're live on radio as we speak. Do you want to say a quick hi? There we go. So we've got a full house now. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Asherton, and Gerry, we're going to have another song, a couple of songs, and we'll talk about Blythe Spartans, and then we'll move on to Newcastle United, because we're both sitting here eager to talk about our team, and also Sunderland. I don't know if you like Sunderland, Glenn.
Not really, no.
So there we go. So we have to touch on it because we've got a lot of listeners who talk about Sunderland. So let's see what happened. The manager, who is Andy Coyles and Richie Hill, he was delighted with the lads, what he was saying after the game. 3 really gruelling games against Bishop Auckland. I think there was only one period, about 40 minutes, where we let ourselves down. Other than that, we were the better team. Tonight, for a duration of the game, including extra time, our attitude remained the same. We also scored 2 great goals. Young Jay Errington, who is only 20, but he netted one of the best goals I've ever seen. And also was unbelievable by Cam Gascoigne, which seen them through. And the next round will be Asherton versus Crooktown, so they've actually benefited for that. But how good is that, is to come in extra time and score an absolute worldie, Cam Gascoigne?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sounds like a great goal, sounds like a great match. Yeah,
and actually to get a Crooktown away, which is not far from yourself, that's going to be another Crook lads out, hard lads as well. Is that just down from Stanley?
Nah.
Stanley and Crook lads don't get on, do they not?
I don't know where Crook.
Crook, you know where Lancaster is? You know where Durham, the back end, and you've got Brandon.
We're northwest Durham. Stanley's northwest Durham. Yeah, we're on the borders of Wickham and so we're close to Gateshead and all that.
The back end of Stanley.
Right.
You know, if you went up to Consett down the back end.
Right. Yeah, we don't. Us Stanley lads don't go that far.
They don't dare go down that hill. So there you go. This weekend, Asherton have got a trip to Congleton in the FA Trophy, so it just takes the mindset off that league. Congleton are a team from Cheshire who play in the Midland Premier League and went up last season as champions. So it's going to be a tough game for Andy Coyles, Richie Hill, and all of his players. So we wish them all the best from Coast Radio. Have you ever been to I keep asking you, have you been to this place? Have you been to Congleton?
Nah. No, I've been to Vegas.
He's an A-lister, so yeah, I'm asking if he's going to Congleton, but Glenn's been to Vegas. So anyway, we're going to have a little song, and then we'll talk about Blythe Spartans, just because 1 or 2 people are coming up for pictures. And then big shout out to Mola as well, because that's one of our sponsors. But the big sponsor, and I'm sure Gerry will mention it as well, a big shout out to Scott Douglas, to Michael Connor, Gav Fell, and everybody associated with Blythetown, because they have sponsored us, the Friday Night Sport Show, with me, Paddy Atkinson, and Glenn McCrory, and our lovely Gerry, who was in there, the main tent, and Party in the Park. So a big thank you to Blythetown Football Club. So here's a couple of songs. We'll be back very shortly.
Coast Radio.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Sport Show with me, Paddy Atkinson, and we've got Glenn McCrory sitting right next to me in the cooler. You're warming up, Glenn?
No.
He's looking at me to think we need a coffee or something. We might have to try and get me daughter to get.
It's not bad actually. It's a little bit blowy, but you know, the friendly people that keep coming up are keeping me warm. You know.
Can you just? There was a guy who was live on radio, and he's just been telling us. He came up and showed his what did he have on his phone?
He had a picture pointing the opposite direction, so I turned it round, and then he says, "Can you press it?"
So we've got a guy with his phone, wanted a selfie with Glenn, and then asked Glenn to actually press the button. That's the first. That's got to be a first for a selfie. That it's absolutely. Look, that's festival, isn't it?
It is, you know, and I think, this is not. And we touched on this earlier on. When you're a sportsman, it's not part of your lifestyle, so you don't really find out about these sort of things. So it's great, you know. It's great to be here. And it's great to see what goes on, but it's not familiar to me.
No, exactly. We had a walk up from Rob's bus. So it's the open top bus down the bottom. We said we'd give a mention and a big shout as many times as we can, because he's saying he's got our jugs of cocktail, £15, Mola CBD drinks down there as well, Tiny Rebel, Club Tropic, which he's going to give us tomorrow to try, and some alcoholic ice pops. Now that sounds. Did we not have one of them?
my lemonade's become an ice pop.
Yeah, but when we were at Into the Fields, did we not have an ice pop?
We did. Into the Fields, we did. Yeah, nice as well.
The alcoholic. I mean, I want to know, right? If anybody knows and they've had one of these alcoholic ice pops, can you actually get drunk from an ice pop? I don't know.
I've never tried, to be fair. I've never tried.
We can always try today, Glenn.
No, not today.
Oh, no, we're not. We're joking. Okay. We've got to talk about Blythe Spartans and Nobby Solano. Have you come across Nobby in your career?
Absolutely, yeah. No, Nobby. I mean, been around Newcastle for many years. I've come across all the players, and I've always had a great support from the club, and likewise back from the players. Good people.
Yeah, he's a character, Nobby, with his trumpet, isn't he? Somebody told me a joke on the way up here. I'm trying to think. It's something to do with, he says, I'm learning my dog to play the trumpet on the London Underground, and I'm trying to think what the punchline is. When he's gone past barking, he's just managed to get to tooting. Does that make sense? No, Jerry's laughing there. Okay. We'll not tell that joke. I'll find out what it... Glenn's looking at me on a discuss a thing. Okay, you're not coming on my... Have you ever been to a comedy club and done comedy?
I have been, and mine wasn't really comedy what I was doing, but yeah, I've worked at a comedy club. Yeah, me and John Gibson's done a few stints where the fighter and the writer when we're being out on the road, doing a few gigs.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Blythe Spartans. Nobby Solano took over in the summer, and they've actually drawn their first game, lost one, and drawn again on Saturday. So last week they drew against Lancaster City, lovely place just near Kendal. Played there a couple of times, and it just been. He's looking through his commentary this week. He's basically trying to build a team while the season's kind of happening. How difficult is that?
I would imagine. That's hard, when you want to have something stable, you want to have someone ready to start the season off. But Nobby's a character, and he obviously knows his football inside out. So if anybody can build a team and get Blythe Spartans a win, which they need, they're looking for the first win this week at Gisley, which I don't have a clue at.
Guiseley's in Leeds. Now I've played there a couple of times, and I can guarantee. So you've got Harrogate and Bradford and Guiseley, but I can tell you now, there's some big lads there.
You know what? You should be a tour guide because you know all these little places all around.
I've played at just about every non-league ground and First Division second. When all the kind of results come up on the telly, I go, I played there. I feel like as I'm 100 years old.
Well, it's great that that you've got that sort of experience with these places and these clubs.
Yeah, it's just guys is one of these. It's a bit like a traditional old-fashioned football ground, really tight. But the Leeds lads down there, and then they've got some big lads, centre forwards, big centre halves. Now, the thing with Blythe Spartans and Nobby is he's been offered players who are young lads, and in that division, it's tough, isn't it? If you're young, like 18, 19, when you look at your son, if he was to ask to play kind of under 14 now, that's what the kind of game it's going to be.
Yeah, and when you go to that level of football, it's not monitored as well. VAR and not there, and having stood on the sidelines at Anfield playing a few times, you don't want to be a referee.
I've played at Anfield playing as well. Can you believe that concept? I've been everywhere.
Yeah, I tell you, them guys, you don't want to be a referee. You don't want to be a linesman. So they're tough.
Is it corrupt football in Stanley?
No, there's no corruption in Stanley.
The referees, that was definitely a penalty.
No, you know what? It's very physical. They say what they mean, and like the Premiership, and it's so under scrutiny, isn't it? Where players have got to be really on the metal, where it's not the same in the league football. Yeah,
let's have a look what Nobby Solano said after the game. He said it was unfortunate that Harrison Bond, who played the ball into midfield, which led to the goal. So we tried to get back into the game and to see what we did. We did well, and we tried to be honest. And we're talking about how we should get. We should get a repeat. We don't want a repeat, should I say, of Tuesday. If it was not consistent in this level, and it was really tough, and it's difficult to win games. So we're really disappointed not to get the 3 points at home, because if you've ever been to a Blythe Spartans game, the team really want to get behind you, and they really want you to put a performance on, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's that sort of club. It's a very passionate club. It's got a fabulous history, and everybody wants to see them do well.
Yeah, he's saying we've got some injuries, and when you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, you know, and you're trying to put like a plan in place or trying to coach, you don't really have time to do that if it's a game, a Saturday game and a Tuesday. So like you said, Nobby's a great lad, he's a great coach, but if you're not getting the time on the training field, it's going to be tough, isn't it?
It is. I mean, preparation is everything, isn't it? You know, fail to prepare to fail. It goes across the board in any sport, and if you're not getting that preparation, then it makes it hard when it comes to match day.
Yeah, so off to Guiseley Blythe Spartans, which is just outside of Leeds. It's a little ground. It's going to be a physical game for the guys. So good luck to Nobby Solana. But Blythe Spartans are delighted to confirm the signing of defender Joel Holvey on a 1-year deal at the club. The 19-year-old arrives at Croke Park following his release from Rotherham United at the end of last season. So Joel predominantly plays in a trade, the left flank, where he's featured as a fullback as well, in a more of an attacking position in his career. So that'll be good news for Nobby if they can bring 1 or 2 players in as well.
I will. I mean, it's the same for everybody, isn't it? You know, everybody's looking at this time of year. Everybody's looking to bring some talent in and change the team around a little bit and really add some strength and depth to the side.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the costumes. We've got 2 people dressed up as police officers. They're actually walking side by side as if they're like police officers on the beat, but they're not police officers. It's not a good look, that, in a festival, especially what's going on in the world.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to comment.
Yeah, we're not going to comment on that one. But Gerry put his head down, didn't he, when that police... They're not real police, Gerry. He started smoking his whatever, I don't know what it is. It's a pipe. Anyway, it's a lovely setting here at Party in the Park. We've got bubbles in our face now in this wind that we're sitting in, Glenn.
There's everything going on here. It's really starting to liven up now. The music is getting into full swing. Everybody's starting to liven up. People are starting to dance around us. So it's all starting to happen.
Wait till later, Glenn, then you know what dancing is, honest to God. By the way, I've got to say hello to the girls at Hayes Travel. We met them at Bents Park when Haircut 100 was on about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I did say to them, are you doing any more of these festivals? They says, oh yeah, we're going to do Party in the Park. I says, all right then, we'll give you a mention. So we're going to have the girls on stage, but I'll also have to explain what they're doing there, because there's a £1,000 holiday to be won, and it will be won this week. So I know they're listening at the minute, Paddy, so maybe you can give them a mention as well.
Is that Hayes Travel, yeah? Yeah, Hayes Travel, big shout out for you. Do you want to give them a mention as well then, Glenn McCrory?
Yes, Hayes Travel, they were in our golf day, weren't they? At the Coast Golf Day, and lovely people, and do a great deal there.
Yep, so we're going to have another song. So Gerry's just scuttled off there with his tanned legs.
I've never seen Gerry move so quick.
Yeah, but big shout out to Scott Douglas, Blythe Town Football Club, who have sponsored the Friday Night Sports Show and Party in the Park. People are starting to arrive, it's starting to get busier, and it's starting to get a bit of an atmosphere, and people are carrying pints just as we look in the distance. And is it Duran that's playing?
Certainly sounds like Duran.
We've got a earmuffs on, we can't hear. So yeah, if you can get along to Party in the Park, tickets are still available online, I do believe. So come along all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We will be there, Coast Radio 106.6. So here's a couple of songs. We'll be back very shortly. So we'll have 2 or 3 songs. Gerry, if you don't mind, we'll talk about Sunderland and Newcastle next.
Absolutely fine. I mean, it's probably a bit loud where I am because I'm stood right on the stage. So I'm going to try not to talk at all, Paddy, from this microphone at this vantage point, because it's just too loud. It's good, but it's loud.
Welcome back to Party in the Park with me, Paddy Atkinson, on the Friday Night Sports Show. And I'm sitting outside in the lovely sun setting now, Glenn, with Glenn McCrory. How are you doing?
Doing very, very good. The sun has just come out and it feels lovely.
Is it on your back there, warming you up?
It's on my back. On the side of my face, you're going to have a little bit of a tan on one side.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking around the festival and you can start to see some of the dress wear that they're wearing, the fancy dress. So yeah, that's going to be. I mean, it was that guy? Has he got like a shell suit, like a yellow shell suit? Is that Ali G over there?
I think it is Ali G. Certainly, Ali G sweat.
Yeah, we've got Ali G. Big shout out to Rob Cairns, who's got the bus, and also Blythetown Football Club, who sponsored the Friday Night Sports Show. Scott Douglas, Mickey Connors, and Gav Fell. I believe Gav's over his. I think he had a bit of a bad turn, but he's feeling fit again and he's back at the football, so good luck to them tomorrow. But let's talk a little bit about Sunderland. I know it's obviously not one of your teams, Glenn, but we have to talk about them because did you know Sunderland do have a big contingency following in Northumberland?
Do you know what? I totally believe it because where I live in Stanley is massive as well. And you know, me and my brother David are Newcastle fans. My dad, my brother Neil's Sunderland's season ticket holder. So my family's completely split between black and white and red and white.
I think somebody wants to take. Does somebody want to take a picture of us for Blythetown? I think Marky Mark, is somebody wanting a picture because we've got a big flag. We've got a big flag here, so we will look at your camera just so we can get a camera with Blythetown's flag right behind us. So so just come up. Give us a second. We're just going to sort this flag out so me and Glenn can get.
Flag is flagging.
It's flying out there, isn't it? Can you get that in the background? Can you move that, Marky? Can you stand it up? There you go. That's better. See what that looks like. Yeah, we're going to try and talk and take a picture at the same time. So Scotty Douglas, thank you for your sponsorship tonight. But it's all about Sunderland, and last week they only played the second game in the Championship, but they played 6 points, and the manager that's come in, Regis Lebris, he's come in from France and thumped Sheffield Wednesday 4-0, Glenn.
I saw most of the game. I took my mum out for a little bit of lunch in the Hilltop in Stanley, and it was full of red white.
The Hilltop in Stanley, how good is that? I used to go there when I was a kid.
I know, busy place. You know, it was full of people and full of Sunderland fans, and I couldn't face asking my mum, can we leave?
Well, anyway, they got a great win, 4-0. Goals coming from Dennis Kirking, Eliza Miyenda. He got 2 in Luco 9. Now the big centre forward Miyenda, he looked a handful.
Very, very dominant. Played a very, very good game, and some great goals and good performance. Great start of the season. That's exactly what they want. Because they need the confidence. And we'd love to see the derbies back, wouldn't we? You know what I mean. So you want to see the best, for Sunderland to get them back in the Premiership, because we want the two teams. It's fabulous for the region to get 2 top teams in this region.
Without a doubt, and if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, Newcastle versus Sunderland. We did manage to play them last year in the FA Cup at the Stadium of Light, but it's just the build-up, isn't it? The weekend all the way across the northeast.
That certainly is. It's got a great history throughout, for the last 100 years. So we want to see Sunderland back. So really good to see them. New manager setting off with a great start to the season. So well done. Yeah,
and obviously the contingency comes in to Northumberland for the Sunderland fans is because when they had the mines and they came across some South Shields and they settled over here and got married. That's where it comes from. So I mean, you're big into your mining kind of societies and communities, aren't you, Glenn?
Very much so. My family's mining and steel from Concert, and all my mum's family runs Stanley. So the mines. That's what the Northeast was all about. It was all about the hard work and the mines, tough people, and So it's you can see how it spreads throughout the region. Like the plague.
No, he's absolutely spot on. So anyway, this weekend, Sunderland, who are sitting second in the table, are taking on Burnley, who got relegated out of the Premiership last season. So it's going to be a tough game for them, isn't it?
It is going to be a tough game. Burnley is a challenge that's going to be tough. But it'll be interesting to see how they do, with a team that's just come down like Burnley. Whether Burnley can, whether we see a difference in standard, or whether that 4-0 win that they had where they look so good, whether they go on and they show their form be a great win if they beat Burnley.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things as well, what we're seeing is this transfer window. The season's kicked off, second week into the season, and you've got Ipswich Town have made a £15 million bid for Jack Clarke. It's not good, is it, if you're trying to build a team and then teams are trying to buy your players?
But that is football, isn't it? And, you need players to go out, you need players to come in. I think Sunderland could do with keeping Jack Clarke, but obviously, he wants to his career on. He'd like to play in the Premiership, so it's trying to satisfy them. But the good thing is Joe Bellingham stayed there. When you got a potential superstar in Joe Bellingham staying there, that just shows you, if Jack Clarke stays, they've got the makings of a good team.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because if you look at that, Joe Bellingham and a couple of the other Sunderland players have just signed new contracts. Chris Raker was a 16-year-old. I mean, he had a great game. He's only 16, 17. He's a Newcastle fan as well. He wants to stay with Sunderland, which I think is the wise choice. If you're in the first team in the Championship at Sunderland, you've got to stay there at 17, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, for the players, it's about their careers and what they can do and their development, and they've got to work their way up the ladder and get to the and then when they shine, be at the team they want to be at when it's time to shine.
Yeah. Then you've got Dan Ballard and Joe Bellingham. They've just signed extended deals, so they obviously want to be part of what Sunderland are trying to build. So Jack Clarke, Ipswich have just tried to sneak in with a £15 million bid, but Sunderland are wanting 25 million. Do you think that's reasonable, or do you think that's wiser? But I mean, from my point of view, you want to try and keep your best players.
You do, but then if you can get special money, you can buy another really good player. And you got to remember, there's a lot happening in Sunderland. The future looks very, very bright for the town centre. You got massive film works. It's going to change the whole face of the North East. We're going to become the biggest European centre for films with Full World 73. So things are going to change in Sunderland. It has the make. I mean, it's always been a big club, but big things could happen there. Yeah,
43,000 was there last week, and it just tells you big support, big club, and especially if they're going to get their film. What is the films work? Is that where they're going to be making films?
There's a massive development. It's something like £450 million getting spent on the banks of the Weir, on the development site there, and they're going to build the biggest film studios in Europe right here in the northeast of England. So it's amazing. It's amazing for the region, and amazing for Sunderland in general.
And it'll be amazing when they do your kind of autobiography, Glenn, isn't it? Or make a film on your life. How good will that be?
Well, it's not going to happen with them, but it is going to happen. And there will be news on that very, very shortly. But there's big things happening.
Anyway, looking at the transfer window, Sunderland are lining up a shock move for striker Wilson Isidore on loan, according to coach, and he's St Petersburg, according to club chairman Alexander Midev. It just shows you what some people just start touting players' names about, just to try and get there. If you're an agent, to just say, yeah, Sunderland are after this player, and all of a sudden rumours escalate, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, we're having the same things at Newcastle, aren't we, with Kieran Trippier. Which we hope's not right, but we'll get onto that in a little while. But yeah, that's the agents. That's what they've got to do. They've got to throw the big names about. Got to throw the big prices about. They're also looking for the best money they can make.
Yeah, and also they're after another centre forward, Alexandra Mendy. That saga continues. The player wants to come to Sunderland, but the new board who've just come in, they want to keep the player, but the player's made it quite clear he wants to leave. But the Black Cats are concerned. Isidore, 23, has made a good reputation of himself in Russia and moving to France in 2022. Although he could now form part of the Black Cats' attacking strengths if reports come to fruition. Now, talking to the manager, Regis Librisi, he's saying that they're definitely after the player, and also they've confirmed that they are close of signing striker Roko Simic, who is 6'5" centre forward. You don't get many 6'5" centre forwards now, do you?
You don't, but you know what? I think it's good to have a 6'5" centre forward. isn't it? I mean, if you got someone like that in your team with talent, that's someone to have.
Yeah, anyway, we're going to have a little song and then we're going to come back to talk about Newcastle United, because I think one or two are looking for a photograph with Glenn. So, yeah, over to you, Gerry.
Coast Radio. Coast Radio.
Well, it looks as though Paddy Atkinson's gone missing again.
No, we haven't. We're back. Somebody once said we've got a photographer who's wanting our email address because he took some lovely pictures for Coast Radio.
All right, well, back to you.
Hi, welcome back to the Friday Night Sports Show with me, Paddy Atkinson. We were fighting with the elements. Our script is getting blown all over, but we're still here with Glenn McCrory. How are you doing, Glenn?
Very well. The sun's gone away, but I suppose it's getting a bit later now.
Isn't it? We're probably talking another about 20 minutes for Newcastle United FC, because first game last week of the Premiership for Newcastle versus Southampton. I was at the game. I don't know if you watched it on the highlights match today or what you thought of it, but for 25 minutes before the sending off, I thought Newcastle were off the boil slightly.
Yeah, I didn't think they gelled together at the very, very start quite well. It was a bit untidy and a bit scrappy, but I think they're back at St James's. There's so much expectation. There's a massive crowd there, and it was just a bit of a rocky start, but it certainly went from bad to worse, didn't it? With Fabian Shaw, I don't think he should have been sent off, but he give the ref every excuse to do it. And you cannot put your face, your head to head. You cannot do that. So
but talking about the referee, that was probably one of the worst refereeing displays in a long time.
It was all. I mean, what had happened to Shaw just before that, when he was pushed over from the back, that just disappeared. That was never even considered. Where, I think he should definitely should have gotten booked. I think it was a bookable offence for both of them, and that should have been it. I don't think
it should have been a bookable offence. But if you go down like that, holding your face, and there's one word that comes to mind, and that's cheating. We don't want to see that in football. But I don't know if you've seen the slow-mo that the Southampton player put his head into Eatland forward.
You know what? But I mean, that's what VAR is for, isn't it? I mean, surely they look at that and you'll get a message in his ear saying, the guy needs an Oscar or something for that, or he needs to become a stuntman.
Yeah, but I believe Newcastle United put an appeal in and they've lost the appeal. So Eddie Howe's come out and said we would like to see the report and what give them the evidence to make that a kind of a negative appeal. So it'll be interesting what comes out of that FA letter.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it changes, to be honest. The damage we thought was done, but amazing that the fight, and that was what I wanted to see. I want to see some resilience, some determination, some doggedness, some roughness, and you got all of that from Newcastle, and then to get the goal was fantastic, and then to hang on the way they did. I mean, that was a tough but a good start to the season. To get a win with 10 men is against Southampton is a really good result.
Exactly, and the crowd were quiet, and we needed that. The sending off changed the whole atmosphere in the stadium.
It really did. So much excitement, and I think everybody just thought, oh no. I mean, certainly I did watching it. I just thought, no, this is not again.
Exactly. I thought it was, here we go, first game of the season, a packed house at St James's Park, and don't say we are going to lose this game with 10 men. And then Big Joe Linton, what a finish, crossed into the box, and he just took his time, didn't he, and passed it into the net.
Absolutely fabulous, very, very calm. Great to see him on really good form. Lots of injuries last season, struggled a bit, but seeing him on good form and seeing what he can do.
He's a monster, isn't he? When you look at his legs, and you just think he's going to, you want him in your trenches, don't you?
Absolutely, and he doesn't mess about. He's serious. He plays the game well, and great to see that. But great to see the rest of the players all doing so well. Didn't like to hear that Kieran Trippier. I watched Eddie Howe in the news tonight, and he said, definitely want Kieran Trippier in the team.
Of course he does, but as you say, if the player's asked to leave because he wants first team football and you don't know what's been going on in his private life, I believe his house is up for sale and whatever's gone on, but it's football. Now it's going to be a big test for Eddie Howe because he's got a good squad there. He's got some tough characters mentally who played a far higher level than some of the players like internationals. He's going to have to manage that this year, isn't he?
Do you know, he's just the man for the job to do that because, that's what he's very, very good at, being a man manager and, getting his team to bring the very best out of his team. So it'll be interesting. He's always seemed very close to Kieran Trippier, and on TV tonight it seemed like maybe that hadn't been said, maybe that was rumours. Obviously he wouldn't have been that happy at not starting. Because he's an England international. He's just come back. He's just come back from the Euros. He's a star. He's an A-class player. So he wants to be on the team. So maybe he's just sort of having a little huff.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there was one or two players were huffed and puffed. And let's talk about Anthony Gordon because I don't think he was 100% sharp. Because you talk about fitness and you talk about sharpness. There's a slight difference in that, isn't there?
But when they've had some time off, yes, they've did the close season games and that sort of stuff. But it's a different thing altogether when you come back to St James's Park with that crowd. Everything rises up a bit. Everything becomes so much more passionate, so much more determined, and so you got to play so much better. So I think, he's a very good player, Anthony Gordon. He fits in the team well. See some great play from him, and definitely want to see him at the club. And I see what he can do for the club. He's just, he's still just a kid. To be fair, we haven't seen. He's got a long time to see his best.
And Newcastle go away to Bournemouth on Sunday, and it's a tough one, isn't it? Because we didn't play too well there last year. I believe it was 2-0. They've lost their striker to Tottenham, but you want to be going to those places early doors in the season, don't you? Because middle of the winter months, and they're a team that's going to be fighting for their life for every point. So at least if you go there now with a team that's fully fit, a full squad, we should be looking to get 3 points.
I think we should be. I think we should be looking for the game coming up to get 3 points. I think we've got the chance for a very good start to the season, and I think the confidence they'll get from Saturday, will really push them going forward. So I just think, hopefully, any rumours are dispelled. We've got a good team that want to come together, and we've got Tonali to start. In a couple of weeks' time, at the end of the season, that's going to be like getting a new signing, and what a signing he is. So, we want, it's going to be exciting as soon as we get him on the team, and other players are going to then have to play for their position.
Yeah, I believe Tonali could be available from the 28th of August, I believe, and that is where we're playing Nottingham Forest on Wednesday night. So I think once we get past that fixture, he's going to be available, isn't he, after the weekend?
I think everything's looking that way, and it's been tough not to have him over the last few months. What a difference he could have made to how we finished at the end of the season. So, they haven't bought a lot of players. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Mark Gay. If we can get him. I know there's a bit of a.
What's going on with that? Because we keep reading. There's a bid. There's another bid. I think it's up to. I read that today. 65 million's been accepted. So I think it's nearly over the line, but it's been such a saga, hasn't it?
It has been a saga, but when you've got a player of that calibre, people they're going to ask. They want as much as they possibly can, and when you know that there's cash at St James's Park, the richest club in the world. Everybody, straight away it's pound signs. But the club can't work like that. We know, there's restraints and that sort of stuff. So I would love to get Gahey. I think he's a
fabulous striker, a fabulous centre half. He's got pace, hasn't he? He's a tough guy.
And our defence, he'll fit in fabulous. We had great defence. Dan Byrne, he's a rock there. You'll love to see Dan.
But then you're going to have Botman, who's training. Then you're going to have Dan Byrne. Then you've got Lloyd Kelly. Then if we sign Gear, then we've got Shaw, and then Lascelles. There's about 6 centre-halves. So what's he going to do, all these centre-halves?
No, I know this. Do you know what? Strength in depth. Obviously, some will go, something will change. But I think having Gay on the team, that sort of quality, having Trippier on the team, you great England players, and I think it just looks better and better for Newcastle. And I think rather than going for, I was worried that they'd go for big superstars and all this sort of stuff. They're building a team. They're building a solid foundation. And that's where greatness comes from. And I think it's not about 1 year or the next. It's about building a team for the next decade, the next 20 years, where Newcastle United in the next few years will be at the top. Will be there and will stay there.
Well, we're battling with the elements still, and I'm just listening. I believe Duran have finished in the background, so people are starting to come out of the main tent in Party in the Park. A big shout out again to Blythe Town Football Club, Scott Douglas, who has sponsored the Friday Night Sports Show tonight. And there's a couple of coffees here flying around, cups of tea, keep you warm, because then we've got big black clouds and sun at the same time. What's going on, Glenn?
I know the weather's got to change for the worse, I think, but I've just got to bring in this little more. I've got to bring my daughter, Aoife, in, who's a very theatrical person, sporty, plays football, but she's dying to talk on the radio. So over to you, Aoife.
Hi.
What's your favourite music? What's your favourite musical?
Musical. I love Mamma Mia. That's a good one. I love Hairspray. That's a good one. Greatest Showman's a good one as well.
Excellent. She's got it all, hasn't she, Glenn? So anyway, we're talking about Newcastle United. Are you a Newcastle United fan as well? Yeah. Not like a mum. I think a mum's in the background who's a Man United fan. Is that correct? Is that right? A Manchester United fan?
Yes.
So we just stand over there. Here's my daughter as well, Jasmine. How are you doing? We've got all the kids. Yeah, you've got a Newcastle badge on there. We're talking about Newcastle United as well. So we're talking who's going to go, because obviously Miggy Almiron, right winger, and we're trying. If he goes, then we need to get somebody who replaces him. Isn't that right?
It is right. I'd be sad to see Almiron go, because I think he's someone that loves the city, loves Newcastle. He's got a real passion for that. And, I know the business of football and, what's got to happen and money's got to be made and people's got to go. But I'd love to stay, I'd love to keep them all. I know that can't happen, but I think Almiron, he's brought so much to the club.
Yeah, well, I can feel a little bit of rain coming on our face, so we're going to have to be very careful here, because otherwise we might just have to talk about another 5 minutes, because I think it is. Can you feel rain? Can you? Yeah. Anyway, we're talking. Yeah, I can feel like we can see them. I hope it doesn't splash. So we're going to see if we can talk a little bit about more Newcastle, just for a few more minutes, and then we might have to call it a day for the Friday Night Sports Show, who is being sponsored by our lovely Mr. Douglas from Blythe Town Football Club. And then we've got Rob Kens, he's going to come and join us as well, who's got the party bus down the bottom. How are you doing, Rob?
I'm alright, lads. Are you getting drunk, like?
You're live on radio, so do you want to talk a little bit about your products? Mola Drinks, we have given you some shout outs there with the text that you sent me about the £15, about the jug. So give us a little bit of what have we got? What's about these alcoholic ice pops?
Company called On Ice, brand new from Hartlepool. I love supporting local business. They're unbelievable. Get yourself an alcoholic ice pop. There's 5 flavours. There's a new one on the way. You will be tipsy before you even know it, people.
Can I just ask Glenn, what's he got in that jug?
Well, I don't know. I've got a clue, but there's bits of cucumbers in it.
Paddy, can I just jump in for a sec? Yeah. Rob will be absolutely made up, because what you two guys don't know, you're now not just on 106.6 throughout the northeast, you're on the main PA system inside the marquee.
Well, we're sitting outside on a picnic table with Glenn McCrory, our famous legend of the northeast. He won a world title in boxing. So if anybody wants to come outside and get a picture with Glenn McCrory, your chances now. We're just outside the main entrance of the main tent, sitting on the picnic table with our lovely Rob, and it's a lovely festival hat as well.
Oh, you've got to have a festival hat. You've got to collect them, man. Collect them all. Give them pool people sitting in them little gazebos in the wind some money.
Rob, do you just want to mention again about your wares down on the bus, right? Because we always give you a mention every year. Just tell us again, what exactly are you selling down there?
What are you selling down there?
Right, well, I'm drinking a jug of mojito. If you want porn star martinis, we've got lemon berry. There's quite a few things we've got there for you. Try and get yourselves a Canamola, folks, for a hangover in the morning. Drink it when you get up.
I mean, is it still raining out there, Paddy?
Just stopped. It stopped. But we've got one or two people who want a picture with Glenn. Yeah, so if you want a picture with Glenn McCrory, our Northeast legend, who is a boxer, he once fought, or should I say sparred with Mike Tyson, and he was the only guy who put Mike Tyson on the canvas during his heyday. And he's got such a great story. He's still looking fit, you know. He's got big hands. So one or two people are coming out for a photograph. So if you want a selfie with Glenn McCrory, get yourself outside the main tent, just where the gap, the entrance is. We're sitting to the right. We've got a lovely big Blythetown Football Club flag next to us because they sponsored the Friday Night Sports Show. We've got some people over there in the distance. If you want a picture, just come across. We will do that. And we've got Rob, who's standing next to him with his jug of alcohol, and he's got his festival hat on as well. So yeah, if you want a picture, just come outside, say hello. We might even say hello to one or two people as well, because we're live on Coast Radio 106.6. How good is that, Gerry?
It's absolutely brilliant. But anybody who's listening at home right now or driving up the A1 and you say just pop outside and get an autograph of Glenn McCrory, it doesn't quite work on the radio, does it?
It doesn't, but yeah, it is. People are starting to come outside, so if it's raining, we'll still do a selfie. So there, we've got one or two people
absolutely.
In the tent.
Do that. So everybody who's listening on the radio right now, obviously you can't come and see Glenn McCrory, but if you are at Party in the Park 2024, the boxing legend from all those years ago, Mr. Glenn McCrory is sat outside. Get a photo, get an autograph. Glenn, are you still listening?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Brilliant.
I
thought you'd nodded off there for a sec. Glenn, let me ask you, is this thing still on with Vegas?
No.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, nothing, no.
I was looking for... Me and Paddy were talking about, and we were looking forward to go to Vegas with you.
No, we will do. We'll get that trip in. I'm desperate to go to Vegas. I practically grew up there over the years with 30 years on Sky Sports covering all the big fights. So it'll be lovely to get myself back sometime soon with you boys.
Certainly will. We're live on 106.6 throughout the Northeast. I don't know if you want me to play some music or not, Paddy.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come into the entrance, just in case people don't know what we're talking about. So Glenn, if you just come with me, we'll just make our way to the front near the stage. So I don't know if this late. Would you like a picture? You say like hello, you're live on radio.
Hello.
Are you having a good time in Party in the Park?
I am, considering I'm the artist liaison.
Wow, there you go.
Oh, got Lucy there, have you?
And it's my birthday today.
Oh, do you want a picture with Glenn? Does anybody want a picture with Glenn McCrory? Just come in. Go say hello to one or two people here. I'm going to take a picture, Gerry.
All right, I'm going to play some music because this doesn't work really well on the radio, all right?
Coast Radio.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Sports Show with me, Paddy Atkinson. It's been a wonderful night and a wonderful show so far from Party in the Park. Big shout out to Scotty Douglas from Blythetown Football Club because he's sponsoring the Friday night. We're still here with Glenn. Have you had a great time tonight?
Had a wonderful time. It's great to see so many people out here enjoying themselves, and just say thank you to Blythe and Scotty, and just hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoy.
Yeah, so Party in the Park, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We didn't even know about it, did it? But we'll probably be back as well.
Do you know what? I'll be here next year. I've got to get my mate Alex to lend me a caravan.
Yeah, it'll be great. We'll park it right next to Gerry's. But whatever you're doing this weekend, have a great weekend, whatever it is. Let's hope the weather stays dry. It is bank holiday weekend. So Glenn, obviously you've got the kids and stuff. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the weekend?
The rest of the weekend, just getting ready to see Newcastle do their stuff and just chill with me, Matt.
Final one, big shout out to Blythetown Football Club for the sponsorship.
Yeah, thanks very much, Blythetown. Great that you're doing stuff like this. You're really putting the place on the map. Well done, Blythe.
Yeah, so the weather has, it's not raining now, Gerry, so it's good night from me from the Friday Night Sports Show, Paddy Atkinson, and we'll pass you back over to you, Gerry.